Jason is in Philadelphia to start off this hour. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Excellent. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So I've done, and my wife have done a couple stupid things here, and just trying to find out where we should get started and kind of right the ship. So turning 40 next year, and we booked a trip to the Caribbean to celebrate. Then we realized how we were going to pay for it, and thought about that, as an afterthought. And finally got our heads out of the sand and kind of did an assessment of where we're at, and it was kind of eye-opening. We just went through and collected some debts and made some stupid decisions, and now we're kind of here we are, and trying to find out where we should start and improve this situation here. We've got 4 kids, and just living the suburb life here, probably doing a lot of stupid stuff, so I want to get your opinion.
Okay. So you canceled the trip to the Caribbean. Did you?
No, I have not.
Why?
It didn't even occur to me. I don't know if we'd get penalized or lose money because we already put about half of it down.
Okay. Well, I guess you need to find that out.
Okay.
Yeah, because apparently you're broke, right?
Yeah, we've we're about $65,000 in debt.
Yeah.
I don't think you get the house.
Yeah, I don't think you go to a Caribbean trip when you're $65K in debt, dude. And that's just irresponsible.
Right.
So, now, what kind of debt is this?
So we've got just a little bit of school loan, 2 cars. Again, here's the stupidity. 2 new cars from 2013, 2014.
Mm-hmm. What do you owe on them?
Got 13 on one and 15 on another.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We took out, brace yourself, a 401k loan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 31,000.
Mm-hmm.
Just over 600 on a school loan. That's going to be over in January for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
So excited.
Mm-hmm.
And just credit card debt that we pay off every month religiously.
Mm-hmm. How old are you guys?
39, and my wife is 37.
Cool. And what's your household income?
We're doing pretty well there. So we're doing about $220 pre-tax.
Okay. So why are you this broke?
That's a great question. Just spending, kind of living without thinking about the future. Both of our moms passed at a young age, and playing psychologist, I think we do a little bit of live while you're young and not push it off to the end. And they saved and never got to travel, and never got to do the things that they planned for, and we fell into that trap. But I'm realizing now, hey, we have these 4 kids that depend on us, and we can't live like this.
Yeah. Well, here's the good news. Okay, when's the trip scheduled for?
It is February.
Pretty quick. Okay.
Correct.
All right. Well, the first step you did was you assessed the amount of debt that you've got. The second thing you need to do is start doing a written budget. Jump on everydollar.com and start using that online tool. It's free to develop a budget. You can develop a budget with your spouse sitting there in about 10 minutes. Okay? And that's going to show you this huge amount of money that's unaccounted for.
Okay.
I mean, you're making great money. And really, you should be able to clean this up very, very quickly. Maybe you don't have to cancel the trip. But if I'm you, I'm just going to go, hey, I work too hard and I make too much money to be broke.
Right.
And that's different than YOLO even. I mean, that's different than, that's different than just love your life, just living life for today. That's just being irresponsible. You make so much money. There's just waste in here. It's like you're Congress or something. So, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of wonderful things you can do here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is your house payment?
It is, I think, 14.
Oh, man. So you could clean up to $65,000 in no time. I mean, you by summer, you ought to be debt-free.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to have much of a life between now and then. But yeah, what I would do is I would set myself a very strenuous debt reduction goal, and if I can hit that, then I would stay on the trip.
Okay.
The only reason I would do that is because you're making this kind of money. If you told me you're making $100, I'm canceling the trip.
Sure.
But you've got such a you not got that big a hole you're in, and you have a huge shovel. So it's just it's mathematically ludicrous, you know.
Well, it's great. It's great to hear. It feels like we're kind of trapped with holidays coming up and stuff. We want to be good role models for the kids.
If you put your income at the top of the page, if you just did a yellow pad and took out your house payment and your car payments and your food, there's so much money left. I mean, there's so much money left.
Right.
You guys have just been sloppy.
Yeah.
Just sloppy. I mean, it's more than just living life for today. You've been sloppy. And that's the bad news. The good news is you can change it today. You can just go, okay, we're going to write this down. I mean, let's pretend I hired you for $200,000 to manage a different family that had your situation. You're not dumb people. Dumb people don't make this kind of money. I mean, you're smart people. You're just doing dumb stuff.
Yep.
And so, I mean, if you were emotionally detached from this and you put $225,000 at the top of the page minus, your living expenses minus $65,000 minus a Caribbean trip, that's a 12-month budget. You're done. You ought to be able to do that. It's just there's so many gaping holes in this. So yeah, get on the budget form there, and you and your wife say we're going to get committed to being smarter, and you're going to be able to live and do whatever you want to do. By this time next year, you're going to be free to be able to, but you're just going to do it on purpose from now on instead of just wandering along like you're childish or something,
Right.
You just make real. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm an IT manager, and my wife is a project manager for a bank.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So in both cases, you're managing projects. You sit down in a situation and you begin with the end in mind, right?
Correct.
That's all a budget is. You have a $225,000 project laying here in front of you, and you need to begin with the end in mind. I don't even care what the end is. If you just do it on purpose, you'll start doing smart stuff. The dumb stuff you're doing is just because you weren't doing anything on purpose. There's no intentionality here.
You got it.
So just make this a project management issue, and that's because that's how both of your minds work, and you'll be able to knock it out in no time. And your flow chart, your product or your project map is this budget.
Gotcha.
Everydollar.com. Call me back and tell me how you're doing or if you need some help. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out these other great clips from the show.
Terry is up in Temecula, California. Terry, how can we help?
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Awesome. Pleasure speaking to you guys today. Got a quick question regarding kind of a difficult work conversation I'm going to have. I'm an insurance agent. I sell property and casualty, so auto, home, umbrella, that type stuff. And I just recently got my life insurance license last week. And so it's time for me to talk to my boss about, I don't believe in whole life or universal life.
Good
essentially
man.
in line with what you guys, kind of preach here. And so how should I have that conversation with my boss? And just kind of looking for some wisdom there.
Yeah. So before we talk about how, what's the point that you're going to be making? What's the very clear thing you want your boss to hear? Don't worry about how to wordsmith it. Just tell me point blank. Go.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear that I have no intention on ever promoting or selling universal or whole life insurance.
Okay, great. And are you required to offer or to sell it? And if you're talking to somebody, are you required? Is that something that they're making sure you do, or is it just one product in a buffet, if you will?
Yeah, it's just one product in a buffet, I would say.
So you're not required to sell it?
We offer term insurance as well. I'm not required at all to sell it, no. But, I mean, the expectation is there that I'm asking about life insurance and pushing that, which obviously I believe in life insurance, term insurance. But,
I understand
the two.
Yeah, and I understand the expectation is there. And I'm leading to answering your question directly, but I'm trying to get true context here. I understand the expectation is there because it's one of the products on the buffet, if you will. Okay. But are they actively checking up on this and monitoring this? Is this something that you're going to have to confront sooner or later?
I think I will have to confront it sooner or later.
All right. So that's all I wanted to know, because to the point that it's not like an aggressive thing that you have to do, I wouldn't bring it up right now. But if you're going to have to deal with it sooner or later, then that's fine. But what do you think the reaction is going to be?
I'm honestly not sure. I've got a really good relationship with the agency owner, and it's a fairly small agency that I work at. There's 4 of us in the office, and I am the top producer in the office as far as selling auto and home.
Great.
And so I'm not worried about like losing my job per se, but I just want to make sure I'm going about the conversation.
No, I got an opinion, but I want to know one other question. So,
sure.
Are the other products, so everything but Whole Life, are they as profitable for the agency as Whole Life, or is Whole Life more profitable?
Whole Life is certainly the most profitable.
That's what I thought. All right,
yeah.
So you're going to have to make a business case on this, and when you go in, and I think you got to go in not with a posture of being indignant, but just go in and be humble and very clear. Hey, listen, just want you to know, I don't believe in this product. I'm not knocking you or anybody, but I just want to be up and up because I'm a number 1 producer right now, and I just want to be very clear because it's going to come up eventually why I'm not selling this. And I'm going to make the company a bunch of money. I'm going to make a lot of people very happy and take care of them, but I can't in good conscience sell Whole Life. And now what you can't do is get sucked into a debate. But if you've got a couple of key reasons as to why, you lay that out very clearly and then sit back, and it's almost like you're just gently pushing that plate across the table and go, this is how it's going to be. If you feel like you got to confront it now, that's the only way to do this. And let's just, I think the fact that you're a number 1 producer and the fact that you've got clear convictions as to why you won't sell it, I think it's that's all you can do. I don't know that there's any other way that you can handle that.
Got it.
How does that sit with you, Terry? I mean, you said this may go very smoothly, and he goes, all right, it's understood. You're not going to sell Whole Life, and if someone's adamant about wanting it, you might pass it off to a different sales guy who goes, oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is great. Thanks for the lead. But I love that you're sticking to your convictions and your values, and thank you for the insider tip. Now we can announce to America that the reason they push Whole Life is because it's way more profitable than term life.
That's what I was
right, Terry?
To.
Can you confirm that for all of us listening?
Yes, that is correct.
But Terry, now that I answered your question, I'm now going to challenge you. You okay with that?
Sure.
While we do not like whole life insurance at Ramsey Solutions, and we are very, very clear on our stance on that, the fact of the matter is you have chosen to work for an agency that sells that product, and they're not going to stop selling that product. I doubt that you're going to lay this out, and he's going to go, Terry, you're right. As of today, we're getting rid of whole life as a product, and we're not going to sell it anymore. We're going to talk everybody out of it. Like, that's not going to happen, right?
Right.
So at some point, you probably need to be prepared to go out on your own or go with somebody else who doesn't sell this product. I'm just telling you. I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying this is a conflict here.
It's like working in retail, and they push the store credit card, and that's part of your job. Is you got to do it, and you have to say, "Listen, I'm not going to push the store credit card."
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm working for you, but I don't want to sell your number one product. See, you're laughing because part of me would go, "Well, then go work somewhere else. This is our number one product."
Right.
So I don't know how it's going to go. I hope it goes well, but at some point, you probably need to go somewhere else. Is what I'm getting at. That's what I think.
Right, exactly. And that is something that I have, thought about, eventually, like you said, either striking out on my own or going to, an agency or somewhere else that doesn't promote it, or with people who are more in line with my values. I've only been in insurance for about a year now. And this is the first agency I've worked at. And so, now that I have my life license, the expectation is that I'm going to be selling the life insurance. And so I just wanted to have that conversation on the front end and get ahead of it.
Yeah, I love your integrity. But the what you laughed at is the point that you're going to have to deal with, which is it's like going to work for an automotive dealer. They sell one thing and you go, listen, I'm not going to sell this one. I'm only going to sell the used cars of the other make. Be like, what the crap are you doing here? Leave. So, I mean, understand that that's what you're going to be met with. And I understand that. As much as I disagree with whole life, I understand why they would react that way.
There's other insurance fish in the sea. And our friends at Xander Insurance, for example, don't sell whole life. And so there are companies out there who aren't going to push these products. So there's other options for you if this doesn't work out. But I hope the conversation goes great and you're there for a long time and you're very happy.
Yeah, there you go.
That's simple.
But hey, be prepared to move on.
Great reminder that whole life is a ripoff from the inside. You heard it here first.
George, you're so spicy.
Thank you.
Wow.
Megan is with us in Bakersfield, California. Hi, Megan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. How can I help?
Okay, so one, I just have like a pretty weird personality, so I might get all crazy here. But we're on the tail end of baby step 2. We only have like $3,600 to pay on one bill.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband is finishing the last of his prerequisites to start nursing school, and we plan on just bankrolling that the whole way through with help from parents, and we don't want to take out loans.
Good.
So I am more of like a future planner. Like, I don't like to think just like, where are we going to be in 5 years? Like, I'm thinking more about the mortgage when my husband graduates, because we'll have a much larger income.
Mm-hmm.
And I have heard a lot about like prepaid interest or prepaid principal, and they don't really understand how that works. Like, I was watching The Pill Method, and then he was talking about taking out loans, and I was like, this guy's a nut. So I just stopped listening to it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where I was at, was how do principal payments work?
Yeah, it makes it sound like there's some kind of a magic to it. There's no magic to it at all. You take the interest rate of your mortgage and you multiply it or divide it by 12, okay? And you multiply that times the outstanding balance that month. That is the interest charged that month. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of your payment goes towards principal. And so let's just make up some easy numbers. Let's say 6% interest rate, which would be let's use 3% interest rate, okay? That's current. That's 0.25%, 0.25 per month. If you divide 3% by 12, okay? You'll get a 0.25% per month. And so if you had a $100,000 loan, just to make the numbers real round, just because it's a good lesson to walk through, you'd say 0.025 is your, oops, I did that. It's 0.0025. Still not doing that right. $100,000. I put too many things in the calculator one time. 0.0025. There we go. Okay, there we go. $250. I should be able to do that in my head. All right. Anyway, $250 of your payment that month, if you have a $100,000 balance at 3%, would go towards interest, right?
Okay.
Now, let's say your payment was $350. It wouldn't be. Let's say it's $450, okay?
Okay.
And then, so $250 went to interest. The other $200 would pay the $100,000 down to $99,800. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the next month, your interest is calculated on $98,800 at a quarter. And so instead of being $250, I'm going to make up a number. Let's say it's $247. Okay? But your payment is still $400. But a little bit less went to interest, so a little bit more goes to principal. So instead of paying $200 towards principal the next month, in our example, it might be $203. You follow me?
Okay, so if
every time you pay principal, that makes your next payment, more of it go towards principal, less towards interest.
So if, like, say, for example, I was gifted $1,000 for, I don't know, just being amazing, and we went and put that on the principal.
Yes.
Would that change our payment the next month?
No, your payment stays the same. It changes the amount of interest would go down because you're going to be charged interest on $1,000 less. You're not paying interest on that $1,000 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so it would cause your payment would stay exactly the same, but more of your payment would go towards principal.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't have as high an interest charge because you don't have as high a balance. Your interest is calculated on the balance each month. You pay your interest rate only on what's outstanding. So if you throw $10,000 at a mortgage, you don't pay interest the next month on that $10,000.
Oh.
It saves
Okay.
you the interest on that $10,000. Your payment stays the same, so a lot more of your payment would then go towards principal the following month than it did before. So that's why sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't want to. I've already paid all the interest, so I don't want to pay my mortgage off because I've already paid all the interest up front." No, you didn't. You only pay interest on what's outstanding. And once you've paid on a mortgage for years and years and years and you've paid the principal down, your payment is still the same. Much, much more of your payment goes towards principal after 15 years in a 30-year mortgage than in the 28th year of a 30-year mortgage.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that they should teach in high school because nobody taught me this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, good news is 36% of the high schools in America now carry a Dave Ramsey high school curriculum called Foundations in Personal Finance. So we've got a little over a third of them, but we got the other 2/3 to go. So, but you're exactly right. That's called a simple interest calculation that I just walked through with you. But that's how a mortgage is calculated. Have you ever seen the tables printed out on a mortgage payment where it shows the columns and it shows your payment and it shows how much is going to interest and how much is going to principal? And if you slide your finger down the page, you're like, wow, a whole lot more after paying 120 payments, paying 10 years, a whole lot more of it's going towards principal than interest. You follow me?
Yeah.
If you've ever seen that. So what happens is, if you want to do this easy without having to do the raw math, if you pay $10,000 on your balance, you just slide your finger down the outstanding balance, and you're on payment number 37 when you did it, then you pay $10,000, then you're going to drop down. It might look more like payment number 61 is going to be your next payment. So you're just knocking out chunks of payments. It's going to be calculated like payment 61, wherever the balance is closest to the new balance after you paid your $10,000 down. So
That's awesome. That really helps a lot. I was super worried about it because I really want to get it paid off within like 10 years after he graduates.
Yeah, that's why throwing money at the mortgage early and often when you get to baby step 6 is so important. But it's also why you don't need to do more than once a month, because they only recalculate once a month. The payments are monthly payments. And so if you send 4 payments in a month, it doesn't change the math at all. Now, they all go towards principal, but you might as well just send one check. And so I've seen these goobs with these supposed systems that they've got and all this BS where you just start sending payments and you want to send one a week. And no, it doesn't work because the calculation is done once a month. It is 1/12 of the annual interest rate per month. It is not a daily or a weekly calculation on mortgages. Now, some credit cards are calculated daily, and some are calculated twice or 3 times or 4 times a month. So they're a little different. But anything that's calculated once a month, paying on it more than once a month does not change the math. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's good to talk to you. Thank you for calling in. That's a good question. Stephen is with us in Indianapolis. Hi, Stephen. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
Great, man. What's up?
Hey, just want to say, big fan. You guys got me and my wife out of debt over the last couple of years, so following your method. So I just want to say I'm a huge fan of yours, and thanks for taking my call.
Well done.
Yes, sir. On this one, though, I'm calling for my sister. She is historically bad with money, and she needs a little help. She had a car, had it paid off in cash at one point, and needed like $3,000 worth of work. So she did something I don't agree with. She traded in, got a loan at a buy here, pay here for a car that's not even worth its own weight now. And now this car needs about $2,500 worth of work. The car is only worth about $3,000, and she owes $10,000 on this loan. So my question is, how can she get out of this car into something more reliable without taking out another loan and rolling negative equity and going into debt?
She's screwed.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a move here. She's going to be in debt She's $10,000 in debt, and she has an asset that's now worth $2,000, right? Did I understand that right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And so she has an $8,000 hole, and the only way to cover that is $8,000, and that's going to come from somewhere. So, yeah, obviously we're not going to do a deal with these people again. So, but let me tell you what they will do. It's a buy here, pay here. Their repo rate back onto that lot is very, very high because of this situation. Because people instead of asking a question like you're asking, they get in these situations and they just drive up and toss the keys in the window and keep walking. And that's standard in that business. So, like, let's just say among a regular car, like you go to a Ford dealer and get a Ford Motor Company, Ford Motor Credit loan. Let's just say that the repo rate there is 3%. The repo rate in a tote the note lot is probably 40%. You see what I'm saying? And the reason is they're selling the car for twice as much as it's worth, and they got payments on it, and then it's a piece of crap car, and they ends up breaking anyway, and they get in the same mess. And so they're used to dealing with her. My point is they probably will negotiate that 8 down if she goes somewhere else and gets a loan and gives them real money. Like they will for sure.
Okay.
So I would send her like to the credit union and offer them, once she gets a loan arranged with the credit union, maybe she gets a $5,000 loan, and offer them the car back and the and $2,000. They'll probably take it. Take the other $3,000 and buy a car anywhere else but a place like that.
Okay.
In cash.
So take out a $5,000 loan to do that.
Yeah, go get a $5,000 loan at the credit union. We're getting rid of a $10,000 loan with this transaction. You following me?
Yep, I'm following you.
So I'm not borrowing. I mean, I'm borrowing money, but we've already got borrowed money. We're just making it better. So you take you go over there. Are you in town, the same town with her?
No, again, this goes back to her being bad with money. She ended up moving down to Texas, where the cost of living is a lot more than it is here in Indianapolis. So
Is she got any family in that town where she is?
No, unfortunately, both our parents passed away, and that's another reason she wanted to move, just to kind of get away and restart.
Yeah. Because just having dealt with these folk all the time for the last 30 years, here's a best case scenario. I'm not sure we can pull it off. But if she can go get a $5,000 loan at the credit union, buy an airline ticket and go down there, get her car and drive over to that lot, and you sit down in front of that manager, it creates a different vibe in that world than her doing it.
Okay.
And you can go ahead and get up in his grill if you want for being a crook as a part of this transaction and go, look, dude, if you think you're getting $10,000 out of this broke woman, you is what's known as confused. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you this car back that's a piece of crap that you ripped her off with in the first place, and $2,000, and you're going to smile and you're going to like it, aren't you? And that's you can do that a whole lot better than she can do it in that world. You following me?
I'm following you.
And I'm serious. That's about the verbiage and the attitude I would use. I'm not being bombastic. Because you're in a rough and tumble world there. So go in there with that kind of swagger and just go, look, we're not doing this. You screwed her, and so now you're going to make it right, and you're still going to make a profit. You got your stupid car back, and you got some money. You go on, you live another day, and you let her go. And otherwise, we're going to have a real problem here, and we're going to have to get lawyers involved, and we're going to have to get, oh man, it's just going to be messy, and none of us want to do that. So let's just get us a deal done right here.
Okay.
If you can pull that off in your schedule and buy a $200 plane ticket, fly down and help her handle it. It sounds like I'm being sexist. I'm not, but that world is.
Right.
You're going to get a different thing when you walk in there than she will. And because they saw her coming the first time, and she's going to have to reset in their brain for them to not see her coming again. And that's what we're dealing with.
When their entire business practice is built on desperation.
Well, and intimidation.
Right.
Yeah. So we just flip that on them a little. Let's have a little discussion about this. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the thing. So yeah. So here's the thing. When you're looking at stuff like this in lower income real estate and lower income, which is what tote the note is always associated with, what the deal is not the interest rate that they're charging you. It's that they're giving you terms when no one else will give you terms. They'll put you on payments when no one else will put you on payments. And so they're making a bazillion dollars by changing the price of the item, not by charging a 30% interest rate. They may only charge a 20% interest rate, subprime interest rate, but then double the price of the car. You buy a house. I used to have friends that would sell houses in these low-income neighborhoods, and they'd sell the house on weekly payments, pay payments weekly, and with nothing down, or $500 down, you could buy a house with weekly payments. And all the people heard was $500 down and weekly. That's all they heard. They didn't hear that this house that's worth in those days $40,000 is being sold to them for $60,000, and the interest rate sounded pretty good. So until you factor in the fact that they're overcharging for the actual item so much, when you put that back in as an interest rate, now you got a 400% interest rate.
I heard there was a crackdown on those tote the notes interest rates, and I guess that's the way they got around it.
That's the way you fix it. It's not usurious if it's just the price is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And people they don't even look at the price.
Right.
They're just desperate
Can I get
desperate, intimidated, scared, and it's almost like that caller earlier where the guy thinks that they're doing him a favor.
That's right.
And it's a disastrous scenario. So same thing with like rent to own.
Yeah.
If you need to rent your washer and dryer, you don't need to buy a washer and dryer.
Yeah.
Period.
And someone's taking you.
And so here's the thing. You can kind of look too at the groupings of these offerings. If you drive down the main drag of a lower income end of town, all the things that you see there are just about ripoffs.
They're predatory, yeah.
Yeah. Title pawn, rent to own, tote the note. It's all right there, and it's every one of them are screwing you.
Yeah.
And same thing if you're watching TV and your investment is in the same place as a Snuggie and a walk-in bathtub, then you probably don't have a good investment. Hello. Diego starts us off in Phoenix, Arizona. Hi, Diego. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. How are you guys doing today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hi. So I'm 26. I have my bachelor's. I want to go to medical school. I want to do it debt-free. I've heard you talk about it before on the show, to go through like the military, see like what other programs that they offer. I tried going through them. I got disqualified. So I really don't want to go into all this debt, but like it's just so time consuming. And on top of that, I live with my parents. Like I'm 26. Like I want to move out, but it seems like I don't know how I can do it without going into debt. Because I want to go to medical school. Like I'm ready to go. Like I'm going to do this master's in August. That will give me an entryway into medical school. So it's just like a 9-month master's program. But to do that, I need to go into all this debt. So, I don't know. I don't know what I could do.
Yeah, Diego, it's a great question. I feel like this is one we get, quite often, especially whether it's medical school or law school. And I think different situations, different schools have different routes. And of course, it's very rare. And Dave, I obviously would love your take on it because you talk to people more than I do with this scenario. But what I know, Diego, is that there have been ways that people have found a way, not just to pay cash, but they've done things within the medical community, or they were part of, not a fellowship, but some type of program that actually helps them pay their way through. And I feel like I hear more often that happening more in the law school spectrum. But Dave, have you, for medical school specifically?
There's a couple of things that are going on. Number one, I want to go back and address a phrase you said. This is so time-consuming. Let me tell you what's time-consuming. Paying off $250,000 in debt, that's time-consuming. Okay, so yeah, you need to spend the time and the effort, and that is the big deal, is to spend the time and the effort on the front end. There's a couple of angles I would tell you to look at. One is where you get accepted to medical school is very, very important in the equation. Because medical school is not unlike other forms of higher education in that some of that is 4 and 5x what the other one costs. And so, there is the cheaper version. And by the way, I don't remember ever asking a doctor where he went to school. I just asked him if he could fix that broken thing on me. That's all I wanted to know. And so, and if he convinced me he could, then we're there. I never really asked for credentials. Did you go to, a big-time med school or a little-known med school? I didn't ask. Now, obviously, you can learn some things in some places you can't learn at other places and those sorts of things. But anyway, so school selection, just like it is in undergrad, is very important. The second thing you can look for is the MD PhD program. The most famous one is over at Duke, but there's several schools around the country that have those, and that's basically where you get on staff at the school and do some teaching, some undergrad teaching, some grad level teaching type stuff, like graduate assistant type teaching. And since you're a staff member, you get free or near free tuition. It's like getting a fellowship, though. It's very rare. It's very hard to get in. 1 in 100, 1 in whatever, get it. The second thing I would do is I would pick up Ramsey personality, Christina Ellis's book, Confessions of a Scholarship Winner. What Christina did was she managed to apply for and get enough scholarships that she got $500,000 in scholarships. What? Yeah, she did. Yeah. That'll pay for your med school, dude. Okay, so you need to do what she did in that sense, because she ended up getting her undergrad and then went to Vanderbilt for her grad, paid cash for all of it, had money left over. And she's on our team now. She's a brand new Ramsey personality, but before she came here, she wrote a book that was a bestseller called Confessions of a Scholarship Winner, The Secrets That Helped Me Win $500,000 in free money for college, How You Can Too. So that type of stuff is the type of material you need to be rolling around in all day long. The last thing I will tell you, and again, this is all just needle in a haystack stuff, but dude, all you got to do is find one needle, and you're there. Because you don't have to. This does not have to be a policy for the United States of America. This is Diego. Just got to do it. Just Diego. That's the only guy's got to do it. All right. So, for your sake, anyway. Now, a lot of the large pharmaceutical companies and large hospital companies are desperate to have doctors like them, and that includes future doctors. And so some of them have scholarship or work for hire type programs, meaning that you can talk to a large hospital corporation and promise to work for them in a different setting, maybe at a reduced rate for several years. But you can go to an underserved area, an inner city area, a rural area where they're having trouble getting docs to park, and you go there and serve for 3 years afterwards. You get paid to do that, but in return for making that promise in advance, it's a modern-day indentured servant program. You get free medical school paid for by them. So that's the type of stuff I'm looking for. Is all of that worth it? Well, you've just got to weigh it out. But I can tell you this. Christina talks about she probably made $1,000 an hour applying for scholarships. So, I mean, if she had, 50,000 hours, in the thing,
sure.
that'd be $100 an hour, or 5,000 hours would be $1,000 an hour that she got, and she's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, Christina's absolutely incredible. I don't know the scholarships in the medical.
Yeah, but these were not tied to anything. She used them for grad.
No, she did, but I'm saying for Diego.
Yeah. Are they specific?
Yeah, are they
specific for medical? I don't know. They're very, again, anything that's graduate level is harder to get than undergrad.
Yes.
A lot of undergrad out there laying around.
And so you're saying all this is a needle in a haystack, and sure it is, but what I know is, even being on this show and talking to people around the country, people have done it. Like, they'll come up to me in a book signing line or something. They're like, oh yeah, I went to medical school debt free. I did business.
How'd you do that?
Yes, I always ask, because it's some kind of program like this, right? It takes a little bit of that creativity. Like, when debt is not an option in your life and you said, I'm not, whether it's medical school or credit card debt. You have to find a new way of looking. It's not just this automatic. So it does take some creativity
but this is
and
not
work to go into.
It's not getting in the drive-thru and getting a Starbucks.
Right.
I mean, you're going to have to, this is not cookie cutter. I mean, there's not one on every corner.
Right,
You're going to have to scratch and claw and dig and turn over rocks until a crawdad runs out. You don't even know what that is, but there you go.
I know what a crawdad is.
I know, he doesn't. But
Diego, where's Diego from? Phoenix? Oh, but there's crawdads in Phoenix.
You think?
I don't know. Is there?
In Louisiana, they're crayfish, so I don't know. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Daniel is in Raleigh. Welcome to the show, Daniel. How are you doing?
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm a big fan.
We appreciate that. What's your question today?
Of course. So I'm 18. I'm a freshman at UNC, and I'm studying business and entrepreneurship.
Cool.
I own my own business, and I've been having difficulties being able to do a good job both running my business and also doing a good job in school.
What's your business?
We are an event entertainment company. We specialize in balloon animals and face paint.
Cool. Are we talking like kids' birthday parties, carnivals? Like, what are your main gigs?
We do some kids' birthday parties. We do lots of festivals, restaurant work. We work with some of the sports teams in North Carolina, like the Panthers and the Hornets.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And how successful has this business been, and how much time are you putting into it?
It's been pretty successful. I started it when I was 12, and for 5 years I was practicing and getting to be the best balloon twister I could. And I've hired up a team to help me run this while I'm in college. Last year in 2022, we only made $2,200, but this past year we were able to make over $25,000.
Great. And that's net profit?
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. And you're saying, hey, this is a lot for me to run while I'm in college.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. And how many classes are you taking? Like, how many hours are you devoting to school, and how much free time do you have right now?
I'm devoting about probably 30 to 40 hours to school, and another 30 hours to my business. And it's just kind of a lot while I'm also trying to be social and have a good time in college.
So the question I have is this a long-term business play for you, or is this something you kind of started, it's throwing off the cash and you kind of enjoy it? I mean, what's the strategy here with this business as it is today?
Mm-hmm. I'm enamored with what I do. I love making balloons for a living. It's a lot of fun. I want to do it for life. This is a business I want to own and grow to hopefully be a national chain someday. And we've been growing really well this year and last year, and this is what I want to do with my life. And I'm going to school for a chance to learn how to better grow my business while also getting to have fun while getting an education.
Well, so you mentioned three things. You've got school, you've got the business, and you've got a social life. It doesn't sound like you can do all three of those to the level that you want. So you've got to start going, okay, let me reverse engineer this. What's most important long-term? And that's going to determine what's most important in the short term. And I'm not trying to be coy with the answer, but it's like, okay, maybe I don't take as many classes. I can still pursue the degree. I'm not in any way telling you to drop out of college, but I'm saying something's got to give.
Or you do less gigs with the business.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Or you're less involved.
That's right. The business stays where it is for now, meaning it doesn't grow until you have more time to give to it. Something has to give way here.
That's true.
Can you delegate more to the team?
I can. I've hired up a manager that will start. I'm training him in sales right now, and that's a big thing I've been dealing with is sales for the business and taking the sales calls. And hopefully I'll have more time to focus on other things, whether that's higher leverage opportunities for our business or more time towards school. I'm not sure yet.
What is the thing that you're most valuable in the business right now? You just mentioned one aspect. You've been doing sales. What's the thing that only you can do right now?
Right now it's sales, but hopefully soon it won't be. I'd say I have a lot of the strategy for the business. I'm the one that makes the instructional videos on how to learn balloon twisting since we train our own balloon twisters. So just, I guess, HR and growing the team, as well as finding the customers and making the right decisions to get customer leads.
Okay. And who's paying for school right now?
Right now, my parents are. They're paying for the first year or two, and I will be able. I won't have issues paying for school afterwards either.
So you have no debt, and you have a pile of money in the bank, and you're also putting money away that you're making from the business?
Yes, sir. I save almost all of my income.
Incredible. Because that's an important piece of this equation, is not going into debt. I want to see you finish school, if that's a goal for you, to get this degree that will help you flourish in business. And it sounds like you want to do this long-term, full-time as soon as you're out of school.
Yeah.
So this is a temporary, you got, what, 3 more years, or are you in the first year?
I'm in my first year. I'm a freshman, yes.
So the other question is, how do we expedite college? Can you take on more credits and just crush through this so you're 21 years old graduating to pursue this business?
That's true.
Might mean you slow down in order to speed up. And so that might mean delegating. It might mean the business just doesn't go for a season. And that you got to be okay with that, because you're doing a lot at once right now. And I don't want to see your grades suffer while the business suffers and you end up not making progress on either.
That's true. That's a good point. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'd sit down with the folks that you have, see what kind of hires you need to make while making this business sustainable, because you don't want to eat into all the profits trying to just keep this business afloat to where it's not really accomplishing anything for you.
Yes, sir.
So that's some big decisions to make at your age. I'm proud of you, man. You've done really well.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Best of luck with the future. Anything else we can help with?
Yeah. So I've been following you guys' baby steps, and I'm now on baby step 5. And I mean, I'm 18 years old. I don't have a wife or kids, and I don't even have a girlfriend. So it feels a little premature to start saving for my child's college fund. What would you recommend doing once I make it to baby step 5 and I'm not sure how to move forward?
I would focus on a home down payment fund. And that might just be a general high-yield savings account, and you put every extra dollar you can into that high-yield savings account, and it's sitting there making you 4 to 5%. The other thing you could do is open up a Roth IRA and contribute to that and max one out for the year based on your stage and based on the fact that you told me you're going to graduate debt-free. So I think both of those are wise for your future goals, because when you graduate, adulthood is going to hit you like a ton of bricks with bills, and you're going to want to do stuff and buy a home one day. And so to be ahead of the game with no debt and a pile of money in the bank, dude, you're going to be light years ahead of your peers.
That's the plan. Thank you. Right now I have about half of my money saved in a high-yield savings account and half of my money saved in the stock market, specifically with VU and RSP. How do I know how to allocate money to reinvest in my business versus allocate money for the stock market? How do I know where I should be investing more of my money?
Well, I would look at, what the last year of business expenses has looked for you, what's coming up in the next year for, hiring, and we got to upgrade our equipment. And so that's the amount of money I'd be starting kind of a sinking fund and reserves for. But outside of that, you've got the money set aside in your savings account. And so if worse came to worse, you could kind of rob Peter to pay Paul in a sense to cover any business expense. But if you're running this thing debt-free and you've got some money to cover those equipment expenses, rentals, whatever your needs are, you're in great shape as far as the business. And so unless it's making a new hire, which hopefully they're going to produce enough revenue to offset what they cost you. So that's going to be the goal running this business. I'm going to send you a copy of Dave's book, Entree Leadership, as well, Daniel. That's our playbook for how Dave built this thing from a card table in his living room to the Ramsey empire with over 1,000 team members in this amazing campus. And I think it will encourage you along the way as you're actually hiring people at 18 years old. I mean, what an impressive kid. This is an adult, and his parents did a great job raising him well.
He's asking the right questions. Yeah, I mean, certainly at 18, looking long-term like this and having to make these kind of tough decisions, very entrepreneurial. You love seeing that in this generation, and really interesting to see. And, I never want to push anybody to drop out of college, but at some point, what business training do you need versus a true 4-year degree? Maybe even looking at more business classes, business training, small business things like that. That's what I'd be looking at.
And Daniel, if you ever come by Ramsey Solutions, I'd love to twist me a little camel balloon. I think that'd be fun. What do you think, Ken?
I would actually love to see that.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. Shaylin is in Saskatchewan. Hi, Shaylin. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So my husband and I own a small construction business, and we are often making large material purchases upwards of $10,000. So how do we do this without using credit cards? We're debt-free personally and with our business, but we use a credit card to make business purchases online and over the phone. And we don't have a problem with paying it off, but we want to get away from credit cards. So what debit cards do you recommend for large online business purchases?
You'll have to customize your debit card with your local bank, the way we have, because a large singular purchase won't fly with most debit cards unless you've got it set up. Most of them have pretty stringent daily limits and single purchase limits. And but you can have that customized. Like, you know, I don't walk around with a debit card that limits me to $1,000. I mean, I may buy something expensive because I've got the money. And so obviously the relationship I have with the bank allows me to do that. And you've got to do that with a good local bank and set your debit card up. And then obviously you have to build up the business savings. It's called retained earnings, to be able to cash flow this on behalf of your clients until you get the money back from them. Obviously, when you're ordering something, you're passing that cost on to your customer, and you're getting the money back as they pay a draw on the construction or as they pay for the construction project being completed, one of the two, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a 30-day thing maybe. So, you know, you're just you need a prime the pump one time. If you had $20,000 cash sitting in your business checking account and it just rolled over all the time, it would drain down some, and then it would come back up when you got paid, and then it would drain down some, and then it would come back up when you get paid. And you just set a limit. I don't go below $15,000 cash in my business retained earnings because I need that much to cash flow these purchases and so on. And so, it may take you a little while to get there. The other thing we did, because we didn't have the money to cover it in the early days like that. If we were purchasing something here, like let's say we go and buy, in the old days, maybe we buy 10,000 copies of a book that we're getting ready to sell. And then we ship those books out to bookstores and we ship them out through the distributors, and it may be 2-3 months before we get paid on those. And so what we had to do was just go ahead and, you know, build the money up to pay for the order period. And then when the money came back in off of the sale of those books, it was as if it was all free money, you know, because we didn't have anything owed. We didn't have anything owed against it, you know. It was the 100% check, right? We'd already paid for the cost of goods sold. We'd already paid for the materials.
I've done a few home projects over the years where the builder comes and says, "Here's what your material costs are going to be to get out the door to get started," and they required that up front.
Yeah,
and so I actually gave them the money. That way, I'm not going to walk, and they're not so. And I've heard horror stories about that where a GC can walk off with your prepayment, but I like that option too.
Yeah, change your terms. That's what I was leading to, was on the books. We had to, if somebody wanted an unusually large order that we couldn't cash flow, we just had to require a deposit of 50% up front.
And that pays for the books.
And that actually paid for more than the books. It paid for some more because we don't have 50% in them. So our cost of goods sold is not that high. And so we had to change the terms of working with our customer.
But I love that what you said about if you get $20,000 or $30,000 in your account, you become your own bank.
Yep.
And I love that way of operating.
Yeah, and it's real clean. I'll tell you the other thing that's weird is it changes what you're buying and how you're buying it, because it's like real money. When you're doing it with debt, it doesn't feel like it's real money. But when you're pulling your money out of your checking account to make this purchase, you're like, you have this moment where you just make sure it's all right.
You measure to the fence post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't think about that when you're just slapping a plastic down. We got to take care of it later. Just get it. We got to get this going. We got to get this. And you get sloppier when you're using borrowed money. Less wise. Eric's in Houston, Texas. Hey, Eric, what's up?
Hi, Dave. I just started listening to you not too long ago. I have a friend that did your program and is out of debt. I have a question. My wife and I were she believes in having no debt, so we're going into this. but I've already, calculated how much, credit card loan that I have. Here's the thing. We have 5 properties, right? 3 of them are rented out. One of them is where we live, and another one I'm going to start renting it out because, it was kind of like out in the country weekend, but we don't get out there. So I'm either going to put it up for Airbnb or rent it out to someone that lives out in that area. When I've added all my debt, I have 2 mortgages, right? 2 loans but 5 properties, but 2 loans to pay 2 of these properties. Do I treat those 2 loans that as part of a snowball? Do I lump them in with that, or how would I tackle that?
Your personal residence is paid for?
Yes.
Okay. How much non-mortgage debt do you have?
21.
Cool. What's your household income?
So my wife just started working again, so I make 80. But my wife makes, she's transitioning to a position that hopefully will get her, 50s, 60s. But right now, I'm treating it as if she's bringing in 35 a year. So I would say 115.
Well, you don't have to treat it anyway. It's just what she is making or isn't making. So right now, you make 80, and it sounds like she's going to make 60. You're at 140. You're going to pay off 20 very quickly if you freaking behave and lean into it.
Eric?
And now your other 2 properties, your home is paid for, but your other 2 properties, what's the balance on those debts?
So I actually got a home equity loan on the property I live in. It was paid for, and then I got.
Oh, so your home is not paid for?
So the one I live in right now.
Yeah, that's your home.
Yes.
It's not paid for.
No.
It has a loan on it.
Yes.
Okay, how much?
160.
Okay, cool. And what's the other debt? The other mortgage?
143.
Cool. All right. What we would do is put those both in baby step 6.
Okay.
And address those as you get there. And I would pay off your house first, then I would pay off the rental.
Okay.
What did you say is the $21,000 in debt?
Credit cards.
It's credit cards, and I've got about 13 in the bank that I'm going to put 12 into.
Oh, good.
That, and then when I do my taxes, I always get money back because I deduct more. I don't know if that's a smart thing to do, but
no, it's not.
So I'm
you're loaning the government money all year with no interest, and then they give it back to you, and you act like Santa Claus lives in D.C.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So go ahead and set your withholding up properly, where you don't get a refund, and you don't have to pay, but you try to aim it as close to your actual proper amount to be withheld, because a refund is simply a loan, interest-free loan to the government.
Oh, I was going to ask how long he'd been married, because he said something very interesting. He said his wife is about no debt. And I'm curious, has he decided that he's about no debt? Because that's a very interesting distinction, that his wife doesn't believe in debt. Does he? I mean, because that's quite a few different loans and mortgages and debts to pay off. And it's
like he had decided to get out of debt, and then she got on board. Maybe I misunderstood, but
I hope that would be my question, is just making sure y'all are on the same page.
This is the guy who went and got a home equity loan to buy a rental property, put his home at risk again. So but you just drop that all your real estate stuff over into baby step 6 and get it paid off there. The great news is you make good money, and if you'll lean into this, you can be 100% debt-free houses and everything in just a few years. You'll be amazed. Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Nicola is with us in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Nicola. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Oh, Mr. Ramsey, thank you so much for taking my call. Hope all is well with you. So I in my 20s, I listened to your, read your books and such, purchased a home at 27. However, I lost my job after 10 years, and I sold my condo in 2016. I live at home. I'm now 42, and I created a lot of debt for myself, but I want to purchase a condo in 2025. So I just wanted your advice and a strategy on what debt to pay down first. I have $10,000 in total debt, 3 personal loans, 3 credit cards, and I have $45,000 student loan debt. I'm still in school seeking my master's, and I'll be done at the end of the year, so I'm not currently paying that. Right now I have $36,420 in my 401k. I know I borrowed from my 401k $20,000 to pay off my debt, which I accrued again. So right now, biweekly, I'm paying $171.94 at 4.5% interest on my 401k.
All right. So what is your total debt outside of you don't have a mortgage now? So what's your total consumer debt?
10 plus 45 plus 20 on the 401, right?
Yes.
75? 65?
No, the 401 is 36,420.
No, the
so
loan
right now
balance. The loan on the 401 is 20.
I'm sorry. $14,000 left to pay.
Oh, 14 on that. Okay.
Yeah, and it's 171 biweekly on my paycheck and a 4.5%.
All right, so you got about $70,000 in debt. And you make what?
Right now, it just got raised. So 60,400. I wasn't making much, but now I am making more, and I recently paid off my car in 2021.
Unless your income changes, you're not going to buy a house in 25.
Right.
What's your master's in? What?
A condo. I wanted a condo.
Okay.
I work in education. So it's obviously you don't get that much in education. So
will this master's increase your income?
One-bedroom condo. Not much.
Then why are you doing it?
But it's required. Well, it's required. Right now, I'm not paying for it. The school pays for it, and because I work in education, it's required to have a higher degree. But the school pays 90% of that.
Nicola, you need to pay off $70,000. Save up an emergency fund, then save up a down payment.
Well, right now I have $3,500. I just don't know if I should. But I have 3 personal loans: 35, 35, 25.
Yeah. And you have $45,000 in student loan debt, and you have $20,000 on a 401k. You have $70,000 in debt.
Okay, I didn't look at it like that, but yes.
So here's the hard truth. You're not going to be ready to buy a house a year from now. It may be 2 or 3 years from now.
Wow.
We have to get rid of the debt completely.
You don't have $70,000 coming in the next 12 months. You have $60,000 coming in, and you have $70,000 in debt.
Right.
Yeah.
What I was thinking, maybe I should save up this year, pay off, my 401k, the $14,000 just flat out paid off, or if I should pay the high interest rate that I have on the personal loan.
I think we're beyond the math of interest rates. I would just list all of your debts out from smallest to largest, make minimum payments on all of the debts except for the smallest one, and we're going to attack that one with a vengeance. As much extra on the principal as you can throw at it. And that might mean you're doing side jobs after your master's program, after your full-time job.
When you complete your master's when?
And the end of this year.
So 12 more months.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Do you have any time to do tutoring while you're working on your master's?
Not really. The job is pretty demanding. Sometimes I do have to work weekends.
Now, you said you're living at home with your parents?
I do. Yes.
Okay,
and,
so you have almost no
$600.
expenses? What are you having to pay for right now?
The loans that I have and the credit cards, I do contribute $600, but it's the loans that I have, the personal loans. Situations happen, and obviously I did that, but...
Okay, honey, you're going to have to draw a line in the sand and quit borrowing money. I don't want to hear any more about your situations. You've situationed yourself into your parents' basement, and you got to quit situationing. So... cut up the credit cards, get yourself on a rice and beans budget. Anything you can do to increase your income, like tutoring, let's go do it. And let's start attacking these debts just exactly like George said, smallest to largest. And it's going to take you a little while to clear $70,000 in debt. When you get that clear, you can start talking about buying a house. You may go rent something in the meantime, but I wouldn't buy until you get this mess cleaned up. Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life. David is in Canada. Hi, David. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello.
Hi. How can we help?
Well, we have a question about identity. First of all, both of you, thank you so much for certainly the content you create, and we're grateful for our plan. We started in February, March of 2019 with 113,000 Canadian dollars worth of debt. We're at $83,079 right now, so basically $8,400. The finish line is imminent, and Christina and I kind of want to know, like, who are we after we achieve this goal? This has been a long haul. We don't really have a strong sense of where to go next.
Wow, that's incredible. So what got you started on this journey that long ago?
Family member's inappropriate gift. A family member gave another family member a copy of the Total Money Makeover. And Christina and I were, sort of victims of our own lifestyle creep. And we had purchased a fixer-upper, and 99% my idea. And it was a total dumpster fire. It was by far the least thought out renovation project in Ontario, Canada.
You just found yourself in a hole?
You better believe it.
All right, so you've worked together for 3 years now, crushing it and grinding it, and you're about $8,500 away from the finish line. What do you guys want to do next? Like, what do you want to do?
What do we want to do, Dina? Live life. We want to own a home at some point. In the sort of short term, like we're married 10 years in April of 2023, I was kind of thinking that like Disney World would be nice.
Okay, so if you just draw another short finish line here, you're going to just keep jumping from finish line to finish line. I want you to do something completely different. And you've probably heard me say this on my show a million times. The best analogy I've ever heard is they could never go sweep up all the glass and steel and dust from the Twin Towers and rebuild those Twin Towers with that dust and that same glass and that same steel. The buildings fell and it's over, right? So we have to excavate it. Sometimes you have to go get professionals to help you, but you excavate it and then you have to draw what's going to be in its place. What's going to come next? And it can be negative situations or it can be really positive things. The last kid just went to college and then now what? Now we get to excavate what was and we get to completely redesign what comes next using all of our experiences and talents that we've got and then lean into what's this thing going to look like. Dave, you've been taking this question for 30 years. When people get to that finish line, okay, I'm debt free and they scream it and then they go, okay, now I've still got to live with you. What have you seen that is helpful in helping them rebuild, reimagine something new?
Yeah, I think you set another goal, but it's not a short-term goal. It's an identity goal. You mentioned the phrase identity, and John, you and I have talked offline about our friend James Clear's book, Atomic Habits. And one of the things he talks about with Atomic Habits is you clearly say, I used to be a person that smoked, now I'm a non-smoker. Okay, instead of I don't smoke anymore. Now you couch the language in an identity. I used to be a person, David, that borrowed money. I don't borrow money anymore. And I'm a person that wants to build wealth and be incredibly generous. And I want to do all the things that wealth entails, which is A, enjoy it, and B, give it and enjoy even more the generosity of it. And that's my reasoning for continuing to build wealth. I have never suggested, nor have I personally done a thing where I build wealth just for the purpose of a single vacation or for the purpose of being wealthy. I'm not trying to be wealthy. I'm trying to do the things that wealth does. And so that's an identity. I'm a wealthy person that enjoys money and incredible generosity. And that's my identity, and I decided that after I was a person that went bankrupt.
David, if you think about identity as that new building, my wife and I, we sat down years ago, and we were trying to figure out what our marriage was going to look like, what new work was going to look like, and we actually made we did it like with the kid, with our oldest son at the time, but we just made it was like a craft project, basically, but it was, here's who the Delonis are going to be. We're going to be people who fill in the blank. We're people who say yes. We're people who have others over. And those decisions shaped the house that we bought. It shapes how we save money. It shapes the jobs I did or didn't take, because it all leaned back to how do these actions back up and support this new identity, this new building that we're building. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sharon and I got, as a minute example of that too, is Sharon and I, it took us a little while to realize we are not people who enjoy passive vacations. We don't sit.
Right.
We go. So if we're going to Africa, we're going to go all over the place and see every freaking animal. You know, we're not going to sit and hope the animal wanders by. You know, I mean, we're out there hunting them with a camera, right? And so we're in action, and so we plan the vacations in that regard. Other people want to go and sit and put their feet in the sand and read a book and never move. I can do that at home personally, so I don't do that. But that's a nuanced thing. We decided, and both of us enjoy that type of travel. And so when we're booking travel, it's action-oriented travel.
But to reverse engineer it,
or event travel.
You start taking golf lessons, right?
Yeah.
And because I want to be out moving and doing things, so I'm going to learn how to do this thing. So it impacted your actions on a day-to-day basis for these things later on, right? Yep. And I'm a guy who I naturally, in the evening when I'm at home, and someone says, hey, let's come back out. We're going to go grab something to eat. We're going to go watch the fights. My inclination is I'm just going to sit here. But I had said I'm going to be a guy who says yes to things, who goes on adventures. Yeah. And so I drag myself out. I'm going to get in the car.
You're a guy that used to be in debt, David. Now you're a guy that is getting out of debt. Yeah. And now you're a guy that the next step is you're a guy that doesn't borrow money.
Yep.
I used to, but I don't borrow money anymore. I used to smoke, but I don't smoke anymore. I didn't. But I mean, that's what Clear talks about. That's right. Changing the language that states the identity, and that's not positive thinking, it's observation. I am no longer that person.
That's right.
I am now this person.
And I think the positive thinking movement
and that kind of goes with your book.
That's exactly right. In fact, I talk about that in one of the chapters.
Yeah, own your past, change your future. It's in there, yeah.
Is creating this identity moving forward. And so, David, I see this as a moment, like one of the few moments in your adult life, and you'll do this, 4, 5, 6 times, when you get to plan and shape what this thing looks like. And it's going to be loosely held, of course, but what a cool exercise to go spend a half-day retreat with your wife and say, okay, we're not running for our lives anymore. Yeah. What do we want this thing to look like?
Yeah. Now I'm a person that doesn't eat 63 donuts.
Yeah.
I was unbelievably fat during COVID. But I'm not anymore. And I'm not going to self-identify as a person who eats every donut in a 50-mile radius. I have done it in the past, but I cannot do that because I get as big as this room. I look like the Marshmallow Man.
And for Lent, I gave up sugar this year, which was
a bad idea.
You know that. That was hard.
It was a
but
bad idea.
Instead of saying, I'm not,
yeah, exactly.
I said, I'm a guy who doesn't eat sugar.
Right.
And I just didn't, Dave. And I wish I could tell you why or how. It was a light switch for me. Yep. I just don't.
There's something about the language change that, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
That's it, man.
So it's biblical. But this idea that you reset your mind and you go, I used to be a person that did that, but now I'm this person. Now I'm a person that doesn't borrow money, and I'm pursuing wealth for the purpose of enjoyment and generosity. And changing my family tree.
That's so great. What an identity, man.
Yeah, and so you just give yourself a different way of looking at things, and you can do that at 84 years old, or
Absolutely.
You can do it at 24 years old. It's not an age thing. It's a decision thing.
Congratulations,
That's a really
David, man.
good question. Way to go, David, by the way. Way to
go. She says, how do you respond to a job offer that does not meet your desired salary?
Oh.
Okay, it's a good question, right? So do you go in after they make their offer and do all this big grand negotiation? What do you think, George? Yes or no?
I don't think the way to go about it is show back up and go, yeah, I need 50 to make this work or I'm out.
Okay, all right. So here's
if the offer was 45 and you thought in your mind it was going to be 50 or 60, for example.
Well, it all depends on how tight are you on that paycheck. So if you need 50 to make ends meet and they offer you 45, you're in a quandary. Now, I don't think there's this big grand negotiation anymore, but what I do think you can say in that situation is, hey, listen, let's say you were, in this case, making 50 previously or close to. You say, look, I can't do it for that. I want the job. But I just literally, with my budget, I cannot make ends meet on that. I appreciate the opportunity. But if that's the best you can do, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to stay. Now, that's not a negotiation. That is you saying very clearly, based on real numbers, it's not a tactic. It's, I can't do it. Then you'll see what they can do. But this idea of trying to negotiate,
it's
Well,
just
and
not a lot of that.
hopefully it comes up beforehand, before the job offer. There's some discussion of compensation,
but you
benefits,
you can't
package.
expect that in today's world. There's a big push for transparency and pay and put that out ahead of time. But companies that don't want to do that for very understandable reasons will come back and they'll get around it another way. So when you're in that conversation, you got to know what's that walk away number. If that number doesn't get to here, I'm walking away. And that, by the way, will come across in your communication to where you really don't have to negotiate. And that's the thought, George. You don't have to negotiate if you know what your number is and what you're willing to walk from.
Well, and the key is to not put the HR team in a defensive posture.
That's right.
Where then it backfires.
And the real thing is, let's do some research. Do you know what the market value is based on your skill and experience? And do you think this company is going to be competitive? You can do that homework ahead of time.
What about when they kind of make some promises, Ken, or they say, well, I know this is it's not exactly what you're hoping for, but there's a big trajectory. Within the next 6 months, you could be making. You kind of start to get a little bit of that as well.
Yes, and so what I would do if they start to say that, you're going to go, okay, what's that measurement look like? So what are the results that I will need to produce, and how will we measure those results? Because if they can't give you specific answers to that, now it's one of those, they're just dragging you along.
They're just dangling a carrot.
And I shared this on the Ken Coleman Show today. This is relevant. Paychex just put out a new study. 80% of people who changed jobs in 2021 and 2022 regret leaving their previous job.
Whoa.
That's a staggering number.
What was the reasoning? Did they have
you know what, right, for the number one reason? It wasn't the paycheck. It was they missed their friends from their previous job. This relationship component.
It's a big shift. It's like moving to a new city.
Yeah, I mean, we can't undervalue relationships in the office. So, I mean, you and I sit next to each other.
I can't imagine ever leaving here not having Ken Coleman in my life.
I don't know what I would do. I would be distraught if I didn't see you every morning. And that perfectly coiffed beard of yours and that meticulous part in the side of your hair. These are just the surface things.
Wow.
Not to mention your
my character.
Your character, your integrity, your sage advice, all the things, George.
Oh, I love when flattery turns to sarcasm real quick. That's the Ken Coleman I know and love.
That's what we do.
Our today's question comes from Janet in Rhode Island. She asks, my husband and I, we're 65 years old, we're traveling nurses, and we have paid housing stipends. We're debt-free, we own a house worth $750,000 in the country on 5 acres of land next to our daughter and her family. We've got $800,000 in retirement accounts and $200,000 in cash. My son just left the ministry and therefore has no savings and owns no real estate. He's renting our house and wants to buy it. He's got 5 kids and it's a 5-bedroom house, which is too much for my husband and I. How do we sell the house to him? We wanted to sell it to him on contract and he would have to get a loan and pay the estate for what is left if we die. The property's in a trust now, and we only spend the summers in Iowa where the house is located, and we'll retire there someday, but we want a smaller house. We plan on building a small $1,000 square foot house on the property when the prices come down. Love listening to your show.
Very
Signed,
cool.
Janet.
Very cool.
Well, they've done very well.
Yeah.
Got a net worth of almost $2 million, it looks like.
Yep. Well, I would not have payments owed on the house. If you want to keep him from, it gets so convoluted. So what would I do? I don't believe in having debt with anyone, but for sure not with family. So what can we do? We could give him the house. That's possible. Check out the Unified Estate Tax Credit. You use up part of your federal estate tax exemption to avoid gift tax. If you don't do this properly, you're going to get your butt taxed off over $300,000 in taxes. So you need to see a tax advisor, a tax attorney, an estate planning attorney, and get this done properly. It's worth the money you would spend with them, the Unified Estate Tax Credit. So I would give them the house. If you want to, and then reduce their, his portion of the inheritance by the value of the house at the time you give it to him. If you want to further control it, it's in a trust. You could give him the house with a lien filed against the house with no payments and no interest, and that lien is forgiven at death.
Oh.
To keep
so
him.
the lien doesn't have money tied to it.
Yeah, it's just it guarantees that his portion of the estate goes to this house. In other words, because here's what could happen. Okay, let's say you just give it to him. He could go get a divorce, and not likely. I mean, former pastor. Hopefully, that's not going to happen, but it's happened before. And then half of the value of that house would have to go to her, and he wouldn't get a mortgage for $375,000 to pay her out. Because those are marital assets. Maybe not, because it was a gift from mom, but who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened in divorce court that were not just. Justice isn't always served in our court system. So, yeah, I mean, that would kind of keep crap like that from happening. Or he could just kind of lose his mind and forget to be grateful and decide he doesn't want to talk to anybody in the family, and he's already got your money and all that, and then he wants to go run up and borrow a $600,000 mortgage and go buy 6 sports cars and a boat, or whatever, and now he's leveraged up this house that's next door to his sister, your daughter, and the next door to you, where you want to build your 1,000 square foot retirement place and all that. So, yeah, I'm probably putting a lien on it.
That's the cleanest way to do
that
this.
is forgiven. That is forgiven out of the estate, and no payments and no interest until then.
Because he can't afford this thing if they sell it to him for what it's actually
worth. He can't
worth.
pay payments on this. He can't. Well, we don't think. We don't know what his income is.
Well,
he hasn't got any money.
He's got no savings coming out of ministry. We don't know what his new job is,
right.
But he's not in a place to buy an $800,000 house tomorrow. It sounds.
No, unless he got a job making $1 million a year. I don't know what he's doing.
Would be
but
wonderful.
I would probably just give it to him with a lien on it. That's forgiven in the estate.
And who's the right team you would have in place?
Estate tax or an estate planning attorney could do every bit of it.
Okay.
And they can help you with the unified estate tax. You can deal with the fact that it's in a trust. You can deal with every bit of it on how to structure it. But I would do something along those lines because of the things I just outlined. Yeah. I don't want payments. I don't want Thanksgiving dinner to taste different because the borrower is slave to the lender and you don't get away with that. Christmas dinner in this case tastes different, right? But and you need to talk this through with his sibling. Your daughter lives next door, if I understood that right. Is that what she said? Yeah. Yeah. Next door to our daughter and her family, and say, okay, you're getting yours on our death, and it will have grown more than his. His will grow as he owns it. Yours is in investments, and it will grow because she's got $800,000 over here.
Yeah.
Right, and so you'll get. He's gotten some of his half, if not most of his half, if not all of his half. And just let her know. Everybody needs to know everything, and it all needs to be done in a business-like methodology in writing, and you need to understand what the downsides of all of it is. What's the worst thing that could happen in some bizarre scenario, and be willing to accept that scenario before you go forward.
And that's part of managing wealth, is stewarding it well and knowing here's what's going to happen to it after I'm gone.
Absolutely.